Hello and welcome to the new lap time challenge. This week we are at the Trial Mountain track and we are using the Group 4 Alfa Romeo 4C as you can see here. Now, the power curve of this car, as you can see on this ECU power graph, is maximum levels is 7.5k and it starts to drop off a tiny bit before then, so you want to shift this car around 7.4k less if you ask me. And before I show you on my fastest lap and the detailed version of the lap, I want to say thanks for supporting the first two videos. My first one's got just over 150 viewers. I think even over 160 now. The second one's around 90, which for two videos I think is solid. So I appreciate you all and I will continue to do them every week if I can. Now I'm going to show you my fastest lap attempt followed by the lap guide of that lap. In the lap, you want to be as far to the left as possible without going outside this white line, because as I touched outside that white line, I started losing grip, so I couldn't get as good of an exit to start a lap. As you can see, I'm literally right on the right line, and I start turning in just before the right side, just before this barrier enters the right side of my screen. So basically, it's just before it leaves my screen is when I start to turn right. And you need to give it a small lift to make sure that you don't want to steer too wide. A very small lift though is all you should need. Now I rev this car. From memory, I do third to fourth 91 plus, around 91 mile an hour, and then fourth to fifth around 116, except for the final straight to finish my lap. Now, for turn one, I use the outside curb for more entry, and it's only a small lift, but I lift just after this left pole leaves my screen. So I've started turning in now, and you'll see me do a small lift right here. Now, as long as you've got two wheels on this blue and white curb, it's not track limits. If you click too much, it'll invalidate your lap. Again, here, you want to cut it as much as possible to open up the next part of this section. Again, as long as you've got your left wheels touching the blue and white curb, it will not invalidate your lap time. And here, honestly, I kind of guessed when to turn in, but looking at this replay, there's the last tree on the left. It's as you go past it, that's a good turning point for this corner. But honestly, I kind of just guessed it. Depending on feel, really. You might need to give it a tiny lift depending on how fast you're going in this part of the track, or depending on how far to the right you are. I don't think I lifted. Yeah, I gave it a tiny lift while up. Otherwise, I would have been understeer too wide and have dirty tyres for this next corner. So for the next corner, I start braking between this end of this barrier and like the first big bush, this bush here. I brake about halfway in between. Or just before this bush hits the edge of my screen. Now, I initially brake 90-100%-ish, and then you want to trail brake, because if you carry on with 100% brakes, you're just going to understeer, and then you can't carry so much speed for this little cambered bit. So, also, you want to be as close to the inside as possible, and you want to be on throttle really early in this car. So you see, as soon as I hit around 72 mile an hour, I'm already back on the throttle. So as soon as I see the 72 mile an hour on my screen, I am on the throttle, and it's full throttle. It shouldn't understeer too wide. It's got pretty good grip, this car. For this next part, I'm braking between this right side of the tree and the left side of the sign. I basically brake right in between. As you can see, I've just gone past the tree and a bit before the sign. I am hitting the brakes right now. Oh, again, you want around 60-61 miles an hour. You want to be in the third gear. For this next part, I like to use all this track here, on all this curb. Now, I start turning it in just before the end of the curb, I believe. I believe I give it a little touch of the brakes as well to get it rotated. And just before the end of the inside curb, I'm already on the throttle. In this car, you want to be on the throttle really early because it's got a lot of grip, especially on the racing hard tyres. But it's got very low power, so it doesn't understeer too much. You can get away with very early throttle compared to other cars. Now for this next corner, I'd say this is probably one of the most difficult corners of the lap, in my opinion. Now, you'll see me upshift to fourth right before I started turning in. Now, I don't know if that was because I was hitting the rev limiter if I was staying in third, or just because I doubt so that when I slow the car down for the next corner, I get a bit extra rotation from downshifting down to third because of the weight distribution and how it works in this game. I start to turn in basically as I get right to the outside, right next to the barriers. So I start to brake and turn, and it's a very small top of the brake. I think I start turning about in between this line here and this line here. Yeah. So you see, I did about 10% trail braking, and you want to be as close to the inside as possible because it's cambered. And again, I'm exiting in fourth because of the power curve. I didn't explain this, but very briefly, this car has quite a bit of power in the low revs, so you can get away with exiting in high gears. And also, this car, I believe, has turbo lag, so when you change gear, the turbo doesn't fully use all its pressure. It takes time to activate the turbo, if you get what I mean. So you initially lose a little bit of power as you change gear, which is why I go fourth gear in this corner. And again, full throttle as soon as you can. I'm right on the inside, using the camber, and I'm not even close to the outside wall, but I took quite a bit of speed in this corner still. See, I stopped to turn a bit, and look how much space I still have. I still got quite a bit of exit, so there's definitely time. So yeah, okay, I did 117 there, but I think 116 is faster. Staying fifth as well, it's faster staying fifth than to go up to sixth. Anyway, for the next corner, it's probably faster to use the outside curb to have more width for the next corner, but I personally didn't use it. I felt more comfortable braking in a straight line than having to go over to the curbs and then as I hit the brakes, I'm turning again. So I prefer to stay off them personally. And it just gives me a better vision for the next corner because you're not hitting the bump, so your car's like not jumping. Well, it's not jumping, but it's not bouncing around, so that your screen's shaking a bit. Anyway, next corner, you see the sign here. I'll brake after it, and then you see this tree here, the first tree here. Not this tree here, but this tree. I brake basically directly in between those two. Down to first gear. Initially I'm on 100% brakes, but as I get closer to the inside, I start to trail brake again. Now, I did go a touch, I don't think I went a bit deep, I think I just turned slightly late, but basically you're looking for around 72 mph apex speed, and again you want to be as close to the inside barrier as you can, because again it is cambered on this corner, so you want to be on the inside to have your car inside the camber so you can carry more speed, etc. I even dipped to 69, so I definitely lost time there. 15.1, there's probably 3 temps in the first 2 sectors to be honest, maybe even 4 temps. I think, yeah, there's definitely some time in those corners. Anyway, for this corner, see this little tree, this little tree bit here? I brake basically as I hit it, and you want to brake in a straight line here. So as you can see, I've started lifting off, I am about to tap the brakes, I am going in a straight line. And then as I want to turn, then obviously I turn into the corner when I feel the timing's right. Again, you stay third. I downshift second very briefly to get a little extra rotation, but you want to exit in third, and you want about 63 mph apex speed. I think even 64 is possible if you turn slightly later. I think I turned slightly too early for this corner. Yeah, look, I had a bit of space there, so you could definitely take a bit more speed and use that outside curb. Anyway, for this next corner, I broke as I passed this tree here. I think you can brake slightly later, but I found it that if I broke later, because I like to brake in a straight line, I would miss the corner entirely. So I like to brake as I hit the tree basically, and I downshift second. Little bit of trail braking at the end, about 60% brakes should be enough, and I reckon you can get around 63 mph apex speed. But I'm well before the corner, and I'm already about to go on a fall. You can go on a fall really early in this corner because it opens up quite a bit. I was slightly too wide, but it was okay. I carried the speed. As long as you carry speed, it's okay. For this last corner, I basically broke. You see this tree here. I broke just before I hit that tree. But the way I found out when to brake, I stayed fourth, and as soon as my car would hit 120 and start to like hit the rev limiter, that is when I broke. But as long as you brake a little bit before this tree, you should make the chicane no problem. So initially 100% brakes. As I downshifted first, I started to trail brake slightly, if you could see. And I like to have 2 wheels inside this orange curb, 2 wheels outside it. I believe if your right wheels touches the orange part, the yellow-orange curb at any point, it invalidates your lap. But even if you have your right wheels inside the white line here, it's not a track invalidation. So yeah, like I said, I like to downshift to first for that little extra rotation. But as soon as I start to get on full, I am upshifting to second. I slightly missed the inside curb actually, my left wheels, but I think it is slightly faster. And anyway, for this last corner, basically the same way you start a lap. You want to be quite far left, not as far left, obviously, because you don't want to compromise the first bit too much. But I started turning in a bit early here from memory. So I start turning in, like I said, a bit before this barrier on the right, which is the right side of my screen. I upshift a little bit early, I think, from memory. That's just for stability and just so you're not understeering too much to the outside wall. Yeah, if you saw, I slightly touched the inside grass, so my car don't oversteer necessarily, but like it shakes a tiny bit so that I'm losing a little bit of exit speed. You see, I had a little wobble when I pressed play. So I definitely lost a mile an hour to the exit. On this lap, I believe it's a 2 minute 274. I think it will go down to 59.6, 59.7 area. I reckon that'll be the world record by the time this ends. Because I think there's quite a few attempts in my lap personally. And that's not me on a controller. On a wheel, I think it's better on this combo. But I'm not a wheel user, so I can't say for sure. But I would imagine it's better, especially through the first sector, because on wheel you can steer left to right pretty quickly, whereas on controller, when you steer left and right, once you steer left and you start to steer right, it takes time for the steering to react on the controller, so you can't just like suddenly change direction as quick on the controller. But anyway, that's a 2 minute 274. I'm pretty, considering this is my first time I've driven Group 4 in a good few months, I'm happy with this lap. I think it's a solid guide. And yeah, I talked about some corners where I could have improved on, and what time I think it'll go down to. So hopefully it helps you get a gold or at least significantly improve your lap times. And I'm going to show you how to get to the event, how to look at my replay, etc. See a replay of my Trial Mountain 4C lap. You can either go to content search here. If you've got 4C currently equipped, then you can go to that car and then go to replays and search for the keyword my name, Colster, in case you didn't know. There's my lap. Like I said, 2 minute 274. Or, probably an easier way to be honest, go to sport mode. And it's not that you get to the front in the first place, I should mention. Online time trials, it'll be the one on the left. And then event or select from your garage, whatever you want to use. And yeah, that's my lap time. So you can play replay. Provisional World Record, by the way. I'm delighted with that. But like I say, it'll improve significantly. And if you want a ghost in my car, just enter. A ghost to follow, I should say. Then go into the event, global ranking, or if you've got many friends, go on friends of course. Then load ghost. And then you can track the ghost. You can change the ghost settings, like display loaded ghost, and then you can reset it after each sector. And you can have it like half a second in front of you if you want it, etc. I mean, that's up to you. Anyway, I hope this lap guide helps. Let me know any improvements, etc. Don't forget to like and subscribe, etc. YouTube stuff. And again, if you've got any questions on that, leave them in the comments below. I will answer them for sure. I'll try to explain it the best way possible. But anyway, thanks for watching and good luck and have fun with this lap time challenge. Cheers, guys.